Driving without air conditioning in 95-degree heat isn't very much fun. Hey there, Mr. Rado from the Warrior Wood Shop, and we're going to venture away from our usual videos of woodworking and trailers. Be sure to check those out if you're interested in that kind of stuff, but I like to pass on the knowledge, and here we are in our 2013 Ford Expedition. We've already pulled into the garage. We've already ordered the parts. We run into a common problem of, sure, the fan says it's running, but as you can hear, there's nothing coming out of the vents. It's turned out that it is a blower motor resistor module, and it's a simple replacement. A couple 8mm bolts, so you just grab an 8mm socket. Our plug happened to get overheated in the process. It seems though it happened last year, and then it happened again this year. Both times it was 90-some degrees. I was able to apply dielectric grease and make it work. And then I kind of forgot about it all winter till it happened again. So let's show you how to repair it. I've done my research from the forums and other YouTube videos, so I'm not an expert on auto repair, but I thought I'd pass this on to those that have the same vehicle. I guess this applies from an 09 to 2014 Ford Expedition series and some F-150s. Due to timing, we didn't go with an OEM part. It's made by Perilla, I don't know how to say it. It's our HVAC blower motor and resistor. All right, the part you're looking for is going to be found underneath the passenger seat dash. You're going to have one of two issues depending on how long you let it prolong. It's this group of wires right here, and there is a module that is right up here that it's plugged into. We're going to unplug that. Let me get that unplugged. There we go. And as you can see, a couple of our terminals have been getting hot. I think that's due to the excessive heat. That you just pull in on this tab right here. There's this pull, and the glove box falls out. It's this piece right here, that white. So there's an 8mm screw on this side and an 8mm screw on the other side. All right, reach up underneath here, 8mm socket. It's really not even a bolt, it's actually just a threaded screw. The other one's a little bit harder to see because it's behind everything. Alright. Okay, got our two screws out. The module. It's got a couple of fins, so it does have a little particular spot. So, like I said, I already pulled this one out. I managed to just dielectric grease the plugs last summer, but this time it's the old wiggle in the wire trick ain't gonna work. So there's the cooling fans. I think what happens when it gets hot up underneath this dash, those things get a little warm, so which is then what heated the plug. The problem is we've heated this plug, and that one is showing signs of burn damage, so we're going to replace it. So I'm going to close the glove box and get that out of my way for this part of it. Now I got more access to snipping and crimping there. Tools you're going to need for this project: crimpers, an 8mm socket or a power ratchet, and then some sort of wire strippers. If you do a lot of wiring, these type are definitely worth the effort, but regular strippers will work too. Replacement, and depending on the condition of your plug, you may need a replacement plug. We're going to go ahead and replace ours. The challenge that you run into is the replacement plug, and a lot of them come all black. These have particular colors. So what we're going to do is we're going to match it up with the tab down, and then we'll use some electrical tape and I'll make sure we get it put together the right direction. The kit comes with these heat shrink crimps. I'm going to use something very similar. It's called a solder shrink. That's got soldering in the middle rather than just compressing it, and then heat shrinks around it. So kind of the same thing, but it adds solder to the mix. So if you're not comfortable with wiring and have someone that's qualified, go ahead and repair that plug. If there's no damage to the plug, then you're good to go from here on out. Just replace it. The only problem here is we had two yellows, so I marked one of them with orange. That's white and purple, yellow. So I took my plug, matched it up the same directions with the terminals, and put a yellow, white, and orange, and then the other last one's black with a white stripe. So I kind of making it obvious. So we're at the point of no return, and it's time to snip some wires. It ain't much, but I left some, so if I had to strip and resolder these, for some reason it's not the right plug. I trust my wiring skills, and there was enough wire that I'm going to shorten these up. So I've stripped and marked all those. Stripped and marked. Again, I matched up my plug direction. Alright. Point of no return. We passed that. Hopefully it's getting all on video, but I'll show it at the end just in case it doesn't. On the solder shrinks or the crimps, basically you would line up the metal part. To use a solder shrink, I like to heat the two ends. That way it grips the wire. And then work on the solder in the middle. If you can rotate it or rotate your heat gun, that helps. The yellow heat shrinks, which we have to use due to the wire thickness, take a little bit longer. Let that cool for about 10 or 15 seconds. There we go. Rock solid. We'll do the same thing with the other three wires. A couple of them were thinner gauge. I was able to switch to a blue connector. The color actually means the thickness of the wire, not any particular function. And then rinse and repeat. There's our fourth one. I can see on the middle one I got a little bit of wire poke out, so I'm going to take a second and wrap them all after they cool down. All right, we hooked it up real quick. We had a success, so we're going to take it back apart, tape the connections off, and then put some dielectric grease on the plug, so that way we hopefully avoid any future problems with this particular part of the vehicle. Now go ahead and just grab that 8mm socket again and replace the two screws, put it back in the original location that you took it out from. There it goes, snapped into place. I would say moment of truth, but since we've already tested it. Ooh, it's a little warm here in the garage. As I stated in the beginning, I'm not an automotive expert. I'm just a handy person, and I watched a few videos and Googled this from the forums and figured out that this is most likely our problem, just based on other people's, especially since I could wiggle the wires and it would come back on for a while. There was never an issue with the air conditioner, actually compressor or condenser, any of that. It was just that blower module resistor. I just wanted to share some information that I got if you're searching around. You know, if you're interested in woodworking or trailer rebuilding, I'm here for you. This one I'm just sharing some information, you know, passing it on down the line. So if you would, hit the subscribe button, help me out. It doesn't cost you anything, and if you're interested in woodworking, that'll especially help you out. But after you're done repairing your vehicle, go out and make some sawdust.